everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are really excited today to be talking with a Hall star that is going to be in the new upcoming movie, Big Sky River. And we are talking with Emmanuelle Vaugier. And Emmanuelle, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So what we like to do is we like to give our guests a chance to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit how you got started, what inspired you to get into acting.
I did a school play when I was in second grade. I was the understudy for one of the angel narrators, and one night the girl got sick and wasn't able to be there for a couple of nights, and I got to stand on stage and say my lines, and I was like, this is so much fun, and I loved it, and then so just that it grew from there. But that's how it started. That's where the seed was planted.
This was a prepared elementary school play. They had understudies. They were ready to go.
Oh yeah.
That's great. Well, do you remember the first role on screen that you ever got?
I did. It was a non-speaking thing. It was a non-speaking thing that I did I did an ABC Family restaurant commercial, and I played like a hostess, and I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
It was like the coolest thing ever. I got to walk people to their table, and I was like, hit my mark and do the whole thing. And then after that, the first sort of real speaking role that I had was in a movie of the week called A Family Divided with Faye Dunaway and Stephen Collins.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So did you get started pretty young acting?
No, that was when I think I was 18 or 19 when I did that.
Okay.
So young-ish, but I didn't start as a child.
Okay, cool. So you were in two very iconic Hallmark movies, very classics, I would say. You have It's Christmas Carol and getting to act with Carrie Fisher. That must have been an amazing experience.
It was very, very cool. She was awesome. She had such a great sense of humor, and was fun to be around, and fun to work with. I mean, it was just, I feel very blessed that I was able to, have that time with her. It was really, really special.
Mm-hmm. It felt like she ad-libbed a bit in that movie. Is that true, or was it pretty close to the script?
It was pretty close to the script, but she has such a natural way about her that she could just sort of it sounded like she was sort of making stuff up.
Okay.
It was just sort of she was fascinating to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they actually haven't done very many versions of Christmas Carol on Hallmark Channel. It's still probably the most iconic version. So is that fun to play, like a Scrooge type archetype?
Oh, it was a blast. I loved, I really, really enjoyed doing that movie. And I love doing Christmas movies. That's it's one, and of all the, Hallmarks and different TV movies that I've done, I've only ever done 2 Christmas movies. I'm like, how is that possible?
Yeah,
with
that
all
is
the
crazy.
Christmas movies out there.
Yeah. Did you shoot that one in the summer? Was it one of the?
No, you know what? Actually, it was one of the rare occasions where we shot, because I know that a lot of them are shot in the summer. We shot this one in November, December, and they aired it the following year. So it was not a Christmas in July thing, but it was, they aired it a year later, which was, usually they shoot them in the summer and they come out right away, that winter. So
Interesting. So then you were also in Love in Paradise with Luke Perry. And that must have been a cool experience as well.
That was very cool. What was funny was, he played a guy who was like a city slicker that, comes to the country to ride horses, has no idea how to, he pretends like he can and all this stuff to rebuild his life and career. And I ride, but he's like a true horseman. Even when he had to try really hard to look bad riding a horse. He was a phenomenal horseman.
Interesting.
And amazing to watch with the horses. It was very cool.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah. He seems like he would be a pretty neat actor to work with.
Oh yeah. A lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that has a script by the Dabrowskis, which they've done so many great Hallmark movies. The banter is always pretty solid with them, so I think it's a fun one that is pretty, like I said, it's pretty iconic, I think, for Hallmark movies.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
Escape to the Florida Emerald Coast this summer in The Beach Escape by Rachel McGee from Hallmark Publishing.
After a monumental heartbreak, Molly Lawrence is trying to start over as a traveling vet.
But Grant Torres, his charming dimples, and one stubborn loggerhead turtle named Chompers challenge the future Molly's imagined for herself.
The perfect beach read for your summer book list, The Beach Escape is a friends to lovers romance full of snorkeling, sailing, and of course, turtles.
The Beach Escape is available August 9th from Hallmark Publishing on Amazon and in stores at selected bookstores.
For more information about The Beach Escape and other titles by Rachel McGee, visit www.rachelmcgeebooks.com.
That's rachelmcgeebooks.com.
All right. Well, so we have this new movie. We're excited to have you back. It's been a little bit, you had a little break from Hallmark, and we're glad to have you back in the new movie.
I'm excited to be back. And this, I mean, with the horses again, that just makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this new movie, Big Sky River.
Well, I played Tara Kendall, who is from New York, and she's an equestrian, and she's just going through a divorce, kind of an ugly divorce with her ex, and she decides to take some time and go to the countryside to Montana, where she went to horse camp as a kid, to just give herself some space from the situation, and also with her stepdaughter that she basically raised as her own, but now her ex-husband is with someone new, and I don't want to get in the way of that relationship and that forming and her bonding with potentially her new stepmom or mom. So I leave, and just to reset my life and kind of regroup and ground myself and heal, and that's where things unfold.
Well, that must have been interesting for a Hallmark movie to play somebody coming out of a messy divorce like that.
Yeah, usually, what I loved about the script is it dealt with, so it was grounded in sort of real issues that usually Hallmark doesn't really deal with a lot of that. Like it's, the perfect relationships, everything's great, and it's love stories that are, nothing really goes wrong. And it's like, boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back. Right. Which essentially, that sort of happens anyways in all of the regard. But like in this, we both have trauma in our lives, and I think it's very relatable to what people go through. I mean, it's something that we all have to deal with at some point in our lives, and as you get older, I think also with it being a relationship that forms, that it's not like a new young love, where it's like, oh my gosh, and throw caution to the wind, and they're dealing with real problems and real issues and children and struggling with what's best for their kids and what they want in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get to work with Cobbin Smith.
Yes.
And that must have been cool.
He's awesome. He's so much fun. Yeah. He just keeps, I'm sure you've probably interviewed him or seen him and stuff, like where he's been interviewed, and he's got high energy, great sense of humor, just a joy to be around, and very talented. Like makes my job easy.
We haven't gotten
okay.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to interview him. So if you put in any good word for us, that'd be great.
Okay.
But he seems like a really nice guy.
Yes, he absolutely is.
That's great. Did you do a chemistry read or anything like that? Or did you just
no,
dive in?
We just dove in. When I got the role, he was soon, like when they told me that, like when we decided, okay, yes, we'll do this. I think he was almost immediately attached or already attached. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, oh no, we've got our Boone Taylor. And I was like, who's Boone Taylor? I was like, Kevin Smith. I'm like, that's all. I've watched him in a million things. I've seen his work. He's lovely. He's talented. I've never gotten to meet him or work with him. And I got, obviously got to do both. So very happy.
Were you excited to get back to working with Hallmark again?
I was.
I've been a couple of years.
It's been a few years since Love in Paradise, and I was so excited because I love Hallmark movies because it's something that you know the whole family can watch. You can tell all your friends and their kids that they can, you know, it's not, and there's always a message of like hope, and there's always a positive message attached to it, which is something that I think everyone can use at this point.
Mhm.
So so I think we need more of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have Peter Benson directing this one, and is that is that helpful to have an actor that's also the director as an actor?
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, with Peter, it was like there's a shorthand that you have with him because he's an actor and he gets it. So he's able to communicate things in a more efficient way sometimes than someone who's not an actor. Like he's able to, able to actor speak to
Mhm.
us,
Yeah.
and just has a not that directors that don't have an acting background can't have that same shorthand and understanding, but
Mhm.
I think it's just second nature for him
Yeah.
because that's what he's his primary job was
Mhm.
that for a very long time.
Yeah. So you had worked obviously in Love in Paradise, you'd worked on horses in a kind of a Western environment, and here you're doing it again. Was that helpful that you had that kind of experience to lean back on?
Well, I ride. I have a horse of my own.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so I compete, but I don't
Oh,
do
wow.
Western. I jump. I do the hunter jumpers, the English style
Okay.
saddle. So everything's a little bit different. Like the equipment's different. The
Hmm.
horse the horse that I ride actually in Love in Paradise is the same horse that I ride in Big Sky River. So that was
No
really
way.
cool. Yeah, I was like, oh, there he is. So that was fun because I knew the horse and I was like, ah, this horse is so cool and
Hmm.
like awesome. I'm so lucky, and we're gonna have fun.
Do you have like a ranch are you in Canada? You have like a ranch or something like that
I
for your
don't have
horse?
her. I keep her at a facility, like a
Okay.
training facility. So I go and I see her every day, and I ride and train and all that stuff. But I don't have on property like my own
Okay. That's
situation.
so cool. What's your horse's name?
Her barn name is Bunny.
Oh,
She has very big ears.
that's cool. Yeah, we've been covering Heartland on the podcast, and so I've gotten to know quite a bit about horses and all the different competitions and all the different things over the last couple of years that we've been covering Heartland.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw a couple of episodes of that because I was like, oh, I was like, this is a Canadian horse show, horsey
Yes.
show. Like, what's the deal with this? I watched. I was like, oh, this is so funny. Like, just
Yeah.
watching, the actor. Like, you can because I ride now. I can, I would have never been able to spot it before, but like I've been doing it for a while now and for quite a few years now, and so I can spot the actors who actually can ride.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
ones that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when my leg used to be that.
Yeah. 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 So Cassidy Nugent, she plays your stepdaughter in the
Yes.
movie, is that right?
Mhm.
So that she seems like a talented young lady. That must have been
She
fun
is
to work.
lovely and talented, and it was such a pleasure to work with her because it's not always that it's often hard to find young actors that age, like that play 13 or of that age that have the emotional depth to carry a role that requires that,
Mhm.
and she does. She's very talented.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is supposed to be in Montana. Where was this filmed? Is it
This
in
was filmed in
Vancouver?
BC,
Yeah,
outside of Vancouver, so like Abbotsford, Mission, Langley, like that, those areas.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah, that sounds neat. And so yeah, so I was gonna ask if you got to ride, do your own horse work, but it sounds like
I
you're a
did.
pro. Yeah.
I got to ride it, which was so cool because I got to, we literally got to just gallop through fields and do that, and that was a lot
Mhm.
of fun. It was
Yeah.
just getting
Cool.
like we spent almost like half a day just shooting the footage of us like doing the trail riding and like with no dialogue, just like all the riding stuff, and it was with
Mhm.
the drones and gators and everything, and it was really cool. It was like
Mhm.
I'm in heaven.
That's great. Well, what do you hope that people take out of this movie, Big Sky River?
I hope that they leave with a sense of hope and like yeah, just like I think the message is hoping that things, things do work out and you can heal from relationships and trauma in your life and find love again. So and find happiness. So I think it's a really positive message.
Oh, that's good.
Hey, this is Jen Johans, host of the podcast Watch with Jen, which delivers a steady stream of great movie recommendations, thoughtful career deep dives, and first-rate conversations with film critics, authors, actors, journalists, filmmakers, and more. You can find Watch with Jen wherever you get your podcasts or hear us first at our Patreon at patreon.com/filmintuition.
All right. Well, we'd like to end with some fun, silly questions. So here we go. First one is, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Ooh, mint chocolate chip.
Well, okay, good. Yeah. What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Yes. Yeah, don't be embarrassed.
I'm 5. I just clipped a little flowers of my bouquet was dying, and there's like carnations, and they're like this soft pink, and they're so pretty, and I'm like, they're not dead yet, so I'm just gonna put them in a little glass.
Well, that's nice about carnations is they last a long time.
They do. Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. All right, what music are you into right now?
Country. Yeah,
good.
I listen to a lot. I mean, people are like, I hate country. I'm like, I love it. It's feel good, happy music, and I'm down for that. But I like everything. I like 80s music. It just depends what mood I'm in. But last night I was listening to the country station as I was doing some work. So
yeah. Hey, it's America's music.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I agree. All right. What is your go-to date night food?
Ooh. I'd say seafood, like steak and seafood, sort of, that type of restaurant. I'm a big seafood person.
Get a little surf and turf.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your go-to date night activity if you're going to go out and do something?
Do something. I sit out on a patio and just talk, to get to, as far as getting to know somebody. Because I feel like if you go to, I love going to the movies, later on in the relationship, but in the initial stages, it's nice to just sit and get to know someone. You sit in a movie theater and you don't talk to each other. So.
Right. Well, that's why we always say, if you're going to do the movie date, you should do the movie and then do dinner after, because then you can talk about the movie.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. Go do a matinee, and then you have a 6-7 o'clock dinner, and then you have the evening sort of talk and do that or a picnic, if you, weather permitted, that kind of a thing is fun, or a hike. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be good. All right. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay. Good. Beaches or mountains?
Beaches. I don't know. You know what? I like both. I like beaches, if there's clear blue water and white sand. And then the mountains if there's horses.
Oh, perfect.
And also the beach if there's horses.
Okay. What is your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
I think it's kind of probably everybody's favorite, a lot of people's favorite holiday. I like that it's not about gifts. I think it's just nice that everybody gets around a table and eats and and gets together, and it brings everyone together, and I love that.
Yeah, and it's obviously the best food holiday.
Oh yeah,
of course. Yeah, very good. All right, and you can pick one of your own. What's your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
Oh, favorite romantic movie. I guess I have to say Love in Paradise, because it's Christmas Carol wasn't really a romance.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's one of the rare Hallmark movies that, and now they've gotten really far away from making the heroine unlikable at all. They did Nashville Christmas Carol in 2020, and it was the most likable Scrooge you've ever seen.
Oh, really?
People were literally begging to work for her in the story.
They weren't running scared like they were in Christmas Carol.
No. And I love it. It's Christmas Carol when she looks in disdain at the bell ringer Santa. She's just like, I'm not giving you money.
Yeah, it was a little uncharacteristic of I like that though. Like I love that.
Yeah.
I love that the ones that I've done, I have, and this is my third one, and I hope to do more, but I love that the ones I've done have been a departure from what Hallmark usually does. And I'm like, that's
I
great.
like that too.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you could tell that, okay, this is not a good person. She flicked her nose down up at a bell ringing Santa.
Who doesn't love Santa, especially like a bell ringing Santa that's just trying to raise money and help
For
people.
charity. But that's true that it's Christmas Carol is not a romance. And I also just love that they loved Carrie so much, and who wouldn't, that they were like, we're going to make you every ghost.
Yeah, we don't need 3. We need just you, and
Just
you do
you.
all 3. She was great in that. She was so much fun.
You're Marley. You're the 3 ghosts. You're everything.
And she was.
Yes, she was. So, and there's just a lot of funny lines. That's why I wondered if she ad-libbed, because it's a very witty script.
I know that she would like, make her own little changes here and there, but just to like, she would make things better. She always made things better.
But she was a script doctor for her, part of her career. Like,
that's true.
So good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, very good. And Love in Paradise is a classic. I feel like it's sort of underrated. People should, if y'all are listening and you haven't checked it out, you should, because it's a classic. It's a really good one. So, all right. Well, very good. You answered all the questions. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we're excited for the new movie. And hopefully, yes, like you said, will be the first of many more. So welcome back to Hallmark.
Thank you.
So do you have social media or anything like that you want to share?
Yes, on Instagram, you can find me at Emmanuelle Vaugier. On Facebook, I'm The Real Emmanuelle Vaugier. And Twitter, I'm Vaugier.
Great. And we'll have all that in the description so people can follow you. And thanks again for taking time to come talk with us.
Thank you for having me.
We'd like to thank Emmanuelle for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun to get to talk with her. I really enjoyed it. So let us know what you think of what we talked about in the comments or on Twitter. And please like this video. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And also, if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That helps us out so much. You can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And so thank you so much to Emmanuelle again. We really appreciate it. Check out the Patreon and the merch store, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone.